Hey guys, welcome again. My name is Behroz. I'm a finance executive by profession, and welcome to my channel where I share with you how you can achieve career and financial success. Now in today's video, I will share with you all that you need to know about child care benefit in Canada. So child care benefit in Canada is a monetary benefit, and it's a tax-free monetary benefit that you get from the government of Canada for raising a child. So if you have a child and you're raising a child, then you get some allowance from Canada in order to help you raise your child with that support. Now, before I go into any further details, I have one ask for you. In case you find any value from this video, please press the like button and the subscribe button, as this keeps me motivated, and more importantly, this helps me improve the quality and the quantity of the content that I post on this channel, which is pertaining to career and financial success. So if you're someone who is interested in career and financial success, this channel is right for you. So this is what exactly I intend to cover in this video. One is, what is the amount that you can expect to receive? Second is, what is the eligibility, like who can receive this amount? Third is, how do you go about applying? And with regards to applying, make sure you stay tuned till the end of this video, because I will exactly take you through the steps that you need to take in order to apply for this childcare benefit. Now, one important point that I want to call out before we move into the details is that in case you are interested in building wealth in Canada, that is making your money work for you even when you're sleeping, you need to stay invested in the stock market. For you to invest in the stock market, I have a broker, an online broker that I've used for past 7 years, and I'm extremely happy with them, which is Questrade. In case you are interested in investing in the stock market as well at zero to low cost, this is the best broker for you. In case you're interested, I will leave the link to that broker in the description of this video. If you use that link, you will also get a $50 credit. Now let's get rolling into the video. Now, the first question that I get asked around childcare benefit is that how much money should I expect to be paid by the government? Now, this depends on multiple factors, some of which are the number of kids you have, the age of your kids, and your marital status. But more importantly, it depends on your annual income. So what is your net income? Based on that, the government will give you this assistance. So if you have more income, the assistance will be lower. If you have lower income, the assistance will be higher. Now, this assistance for any particular year is revised from July. So every year in July, based on your previous year's tax return. So let's say in July 2023, your 2022 tax returns will be used in order to determine what should be the child benefit that you should be receiving. So that is the income that is used to run the calculation. So if your income that is being used to calculate the childcare benefit for the year is below $34,863, then you can receive up to $7,437 per year if you have a child which is under 6 years of age. And if your child is between 6 to 17 years of age, then the amount would be $6,275 per year. Now, these payments start to decrease if your income exceeds $34,863. Additionally, if you're over this income threshold, the childcare benefit is reduced for each additional child you have. Now, admittedly, childcare benefit could be a bit complicated. So there is also a calculator on the CRA website that you can make use of in order to exactly calculate the amount of money you should be receiving based on your income from past tax year return, your number of children, their ages. So when you plug in those inputs, it will give you what is the amount that you should be expecting. I will leave the link to that calculator in the description of this video. The next important question is, who is eligible for CCB? Well, if you are the primary caregiver for a child who is under 18 years of age, they live with you, you are a Canadian resident or a Canadian national, and more importantly, you are a Canadian resident from tax purposes point of view as well. So even if you're a Canadian national but not a tax resident of Canada, because for the most part of the year you've not lived in Canada and you don't pay your taxes in Canada, then you don't benefit from this allowance. You only get benefit from this allowance if you're also contributing tax to the government as well. Now, for the most part, between two parents, it is usually the female parent which gets the benefit and not the male parent, because they are deemed to be the sole person who upbrings the child or takes care of all the responsibility for upbringing the child. In case that is not the case for your particular family and it is the male individual or male parent who is running the show with regards to upbringing the child or takes the sole responsibility of raising a child, then you need to inform CRA and make sure that the CCB benefit flows to the male parent as against female parent. Now, next question is, how can I go about applying for the CCB? Now, you can apply as soon as a child is born or as soon as the child starts living with you. So you can apply as part of registering the child when you are applying for the birth certificate in the hospital. If by any chance you miss that window, then you can certainly apply through mail or through my account on CRA. Now let's talk about how you can go about applying for CCB via mail. For this, you have to fill out a form which is named as RC66 form, and you can find it on canada.ca. Here first you need to put in your SIN number. So whatever your SIN number is, then you put in your first name, your last name, and your date of birth, then your corresponding language, if it's English or French, then your home numbers, work numbers, etc. Then you put down your address. This is your mailing address, where if you've put in checks, then you will receive checks. If you put in your account details, then you will receive the amount directly in your account. So you give your address, your zip code, and here if you move from a different province or territory, then put yes. If no, then put no. If you were living in the same province since the time you moved to Canada, then you just click no. And if it is yes, then you provide the name of the previous territory or province and the year, month, and date you made the transfer. Then you put in your home address, and if it's same as mailing address, you select same as mailing address. Then you put your marital status, married, living, separated, divorced, whatever it is, and then enter the date selected status began. Like if you were married, when did you get married, and so on and so forth. If you selected married or living partner, then you have to provide their SIN number as well, their name, their details, date of birth, and all. Then step 4, you provide your citizenship status, like are you a citizen? If not, has your spouse or common law partner, if you have been a Canadian citizen or not. So if you are a PR holder, then you'll say no to both. If you are a newcomer, then you fill step 5. Within last 2 years, did you become a newcomer to Canada or return after an absence of at least 6 months? Yes or no. So if you became a newcomer in past 6 months, then you select yes. Within the last 2 years, did your spouse or common law partner, if you have one, become a newcomer to Canada or return after an absence? So this is about your spouse, yes or no. Then you come to step number 6. This is where you provide details of your child. Here you put in the details of your first child, their name, last name, gender, date of birth, city of birth. And then they're asking if your child lives with you for more than 60% of the time. If yes, only then you will receive the checks. And then you enter the date, since when have they been living with you. Probably if it's since birth, you'll just write since birth. Between 40% and 60% of the time, and the child lives the rest of the time with another individual at a different address. For example, the child lives with you 1 week and the other individual 1 week, or with you 4 days a week. So this is kind of giving you how do you calculate the 40% or 60%. If you selected this box, the CRA considers you to be in shared custody of the child. And then you provide the details. Less than 40% of the time, for example, the child lives with you every second weekend. If you selected this box, you should not apply for this benefit, since CRA does not consider you eligible. So if it's less than 40%, then you are not eligible, otherwise you are eligible. And then here you provide the details of the second child, same details. Then you provide your signature, your date of signature, your spouse's signature, and then you print out this form and you send this form to this address which has been given to you here, depending on where do you live. Now let me also explain how to get this done online using my CRA account. Now here, first and foremost, you click on benefits and credits. Then on the right side, you click on add, which is add a child. I already have my children added, so it's saying add a child. Then you go down, it says start, you click on start, and then you keep providing all the details the way you provided it in the form. So it will be asking you similar questions as you did in the form, and you provide all the necessary details here. Now the 3 methods that I mentioned and explained, that is registering at birth, via mail, or via CRA My Account, is for those who are already tax residents of Canada. However, if you are a newcomer to Canada and have not filed your tax return as yet, then you use form RC66SCH status in Canada and income information for Canada Child Benefit application, which has to be done via mail only. This form you will fill not only to apply for child care benefit, but also to establish your tax residency in Canada. That is, once you fill this form, you are informing CRA that as of now, anything that you earn either globally or in Canada will be taxed in Canada. So you are establishing your tax residency starting this date, which goes hand in hand with your child benefit. So as soon as you start claiming child benefit, that is the date when you start owing tax to the CRA or the Canadian government as well. Here is how we go about filling this form. In the first section, you put in your information, SIN number, your first name, last name, your spouse's SIN number and select this box if they don't have a SIN number, and then your spouse's first name and last name. Then in step 2, your residency status. Now here we establish the residency status, which is when did you come to Canada if you're a newcomer to Canada. So you put in your date and your spouse's date. In case you are a returning resident of Canada, which is you were a resident, then you left Canada and you started working in some other country and now you're coming back. So you're re-establishing your tax residency in Canada. Then you fill out this part. So you mention where you were living before you left Canada, and then you mention the date you left Canada, you cut off your ties with Canada, and then you enter the date that you are re-establishing your ties with Canada, both for yourself and your spouse. In step number 3, you fill out the part which applies to you. If you are a Canadian citizen, then you fill out section A. If not, that is if you are a permanent resident, then you fill out section B. And if you are a protected person, then you fill out section C. And if you are a temporary resident, then you fill out section D. Temporary resident is that when you are authorized to come to Canada as either a visitor, student worker, or temporary resident permit holder. For this very purpose, you should be given a confirmation document. Either it's a visitor record, it's a temporary resident permit, a study permit, or something on those lines. So there are definitions which are called out here. And E, if individual who is registered or entitled to be registered under the Indian Act who is not a Canadian citizen. So in case you fall under this, then you fill out section E. Now step 4 is the most important one, where you declare your income. And it is especially a question that people ask if they are newcomers to Canada, which is which income to share here, because previously they were earning an income in a different country. And at times if people are coming from Middle East, then they were earning income which was all tax-free. So how do we go about filling this section? So enter the year you become a resident of Canada. You enter it here. Enter the income earned from January 1 of the year you entered above to the date you become a resident, which is the year in which you became the resident. You have to input your salary here. Let's say you became resident of Canada in July 1st. Then you mention your salary that was earned outside of Canada from January 1st to July 1st, and you mention it here along with your spouse. And then you enter the income that you were earning a year before that. So for full 1 year, let's say if you became the resident of Canada on July 1st, 2023, then you mention the income that you earned in full year of 2022, both for yourself and your spouse. And then you mention in section C the income that both of you earned 2 years before that. So again, if you became resident on July 2023, then you mention here your income that you earned in 2021. Then you sign this document both for yourself and your wife along with the date and send it to CRA on this address. Now here note that many people question whether and how CRA can prove whatever income they were earning before in whichever country they were living. Well, they can always do some random checks. Although it's an honor system, they trust you, whatever information you put here, but there might be some random checks that they would do, and if you're not that lucky, you may fall in that random check. So make sure you put in correct information here. The higher the income you put here, the lower child benefit you will get. So that is another piece as well. However, I strongly recommend that you put correct information just to avoid any risk of random audits. Now, when do you get these payments from the government? Usually it's on the 20th of every month. However, if the amount per month is less than $240, then you get a lump sum payment in just one go for the entire year. If the amount is more than $240, then you get it monthly on 20th of every month. Based on what you've opted when you were filling the form, it could be either through mail or could be a direct deposit in your account. I would highly recommend you go with the direct deposit because it is the simplest way of getting this benefit. Thank you guys for watching this video. In case you found value from this video, I'm sure you'll find value from another video where I talk about how do you choose between the different investment accounts in Canada, DCPP, RRSP, RESP. You can check out that video here. Other than that, there is another video where I talk about how you can go about choosing between whether you should go about financing, buying, or leasing your car. You can check out that video here. Thank you.